Okay, now we want to talk about how fossils are preserved. So the first thing is just the original object itself. So this is a bone. It's not been altered in any way. That's the original bone that came from the animal. Okay, the second way is chemical alteration of hard parts. And the first method is going to be called permineralization. And so what's going to happen here is, let's say you've got a piece of wood, and that wood is going to be buried, and then groundwater is going to carry in silica that has been dissolved in the water. That silica is going to start to replace the organic material that used to be the wood. So that what you'll end up with is something that looks like the original piece of wood. It'll still have all the grain. It will still have the outside bark on it. Everything looks normal, except it's going to feel really heavy, and it's going to feel like a piece of glass, because that's what it's made of. So it no longer has any organic material in it. It's all been replaced by silica. Okay, then the next one is going to be take the organism and replace it with a different mineral. So here you have a shell that used to be made of calcium carbonate, and molecule by molecule it's been replaced by iron oxide. And so this again would be a relatively heavy fossil. Okay, the next one is recrystallization of the same mineral. So that originally that organism there made its shell with calcium carbonate. But when it died, the individual molecules of calcium carbonate began to reorganize themselves. So they have a different structure atomically, but they're still calcium carbonate. So when it's in one form, we say it's aragonite, and when the calcium carbonate is in a different form, we say it's calcite. Okay, the next one is going to be carbonization. And so in this case, what's going to happen is you had a fern, some kind of a plant, and it fell into some mud, and then more mud and sediments got on top of it, and more on top of it, and it squished it down, and the pressure and the temperatures were such that all of the water left the fossil, but you're still left with its original carbon content. And that carbon has made an imprint of what the original fern used to look like. Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how do you make an imprint of a hard part.